What's up, everyone? Tera Roberts here with Fantasy Alarm, and we are talking DFS bargains for Week 13. Coming in at quarterback just under 6K on DraftKings is Trevor Lawrence. Aside from one bad game against Denver, Lawrence has been on quite the hot streak over the past 6 games. In fact, even with that 8 fantasy point performance against Denver, Lawrence is averaging just over 19 fantasy points per game over that time period. And he's coming off a performance of 29 completions on 37 attempts for 321 yards and 3 touchdowns. And this week, he has a fantastic matchup against the Detroit Lions, who give up the most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Lawrence is a fantastic option. Running back is also interesting this week because nearly every option is injury contingent. Let's talk about 3 options under 5K on DraftKings. The first option is Jaylen Warren at 4,900. The running back situation in Pittsburgh is strange to say the least. Warren is still listed as questionable despite the fact that he logged 3 full practices this week, and Najee Harris, on the other hand, is cleared to play, despite the fact that he logged multiple missed practices and only 1 limited practice on Friday. Either way, I do anticipate that Warren is going to be cleared as well. And if he is cleared, the backfield returns to a split between Harris and Warren. Typically, we would want to avoid that backfield in DFS, but the Steelers play Atlanta, a defense that is notoriously struggling against the run. Both running backs have upside in this matchup, and Warren is priced to pay off. Zonovan Knight is another option at 4,600. Michael Carter is doubtful, and the Jets will be led by a new running back. Knight is a risky option because one good game does not earn you the right to start. But Knight had an impressive performance of 14 carries for 69 yards and 3 receptions for 34 yards in his career debut. Knight is not the only option in the backfield, though. Ty Johnson will also be involved, and he had a very productive Week 12. Then we also have James Robinson, who was a healthy scratch in Week 12, but it is very possible that Robinson could be activated as well, making this a 3-headed monster, so it is extremely risky. But at 4,600 in what should be a competitive game, he is not a bad option at his price in tournament play. And one injury contingent option is also Ameer Abdullah. If Josh Jacobs is unable to suit up, it is unlikely that Abdullah sees a Josh Jacobs type of workload because most people don't see that, but Abdullah has never really been utilized in that way. But his pass catching upside is valuable in an excellent matchup against the LA Chargers defense. Monitor the news throughout the weekend, and if Jacobs can't go, pull the trigger on Abdullah. At wide receiver, I say it every week, and I will say it again, Nico Collins. And this week, I am saying it with my gut because I truly believe this is a breakout opportunity for him. Brandon Cooks is out, and the Texans are also without Derek Stingley Jr., which means that it will make things much easier on Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper. The Texans will likely be chasing points, and Collins will have a strong hold on the target share. This is a volume play, and Collins is just 4,200 on DraftKings. Another option is Mack Hollins at 4,600 on DraftKings. This isn't the most ideal matchup in the world because the Chargers' run defense is one of the worst in the league, and the Raiders can simply opt to just run the ball down LA's throat. But on the opposite side, the Raiders' defense is terrible across the board and will struggle to stop the Chargers' offense. The Raiders will likely need to push volume through the air as well, and Hollins can be a big beneficiary. Hollins had a total of 20 targets over the past 3 games and double-digit fantasy points in PPR in the last 2 games. He is a low-priced upside play. And while I am recommending Mack Hollins, we can also jump across to the other side of the field and go with DeAndre Carter at just 3,900 on DraftKings. Carter is the third option in the Chargers receiving core with Mike Williams out. And while that may not seem like anything special, the Raiders are one of the worst defensive teams in the league. Carter is coming off a performance of 7 receptions on 10 targets for 73 yards and a touchdown. He has double-digit fantasy points in PPR in 3 of his last 4 games and 2 touchdowns over that span as well. He is a high upside play, perfect for tournament play. At tight end, we will jump back to where we started, the Jacksonville and Detroit matchup. If we like Trevor Lawrence, who are we stacking him with? Christian Kirk is obviously the higher priced option. Zay Jones is a cheaper option, and I would typically include him on this list, but he is likely a very popular play this week, so I wanted to give you some other options that I do love Zay Jones. But someone who could also fly under the radar is Evan Engram. Engram is priced at just $3K on DraftKings, and while he is on a 3-game cold streak for sure, this is a matchup where he is poised for a bounce back. I like him this week. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe to Fantasy Alarm and like the video and watch the video and come back next week for another round of DFS bargains.